Just hours of driving later. We drove to and from Montreal. Yeah, we drove 2.5 hours going
It's
through.
like you just woke up. Just wake up.
Yeah, we got one. We like drove all night. Got here
Extra hard.
today.
Next time we just stand up. We really have to. We don't take a break.
We did. We did. We made the drive in 33 hours. So we did 9 hours of stopping.
Good evening and welcome to the Spalding County Board of Commissioners Extraordinary Session. Today is August 19th, 2024. The time is 6 p.m. I would request that you please silence all cell phones and other electronic devices. At this time, I'd like to ask Commissioner Gwen Flowers Taylor to lead us in the invocation and Commissioner Dutton to lead us in the pledge to the flag.
If you will join me in bowing our heads. Father, we come to you this evening after a moment of silence in recognition of those who are not here with us today. We ask you to continue to bless this community. We ask you to bless the leaders of this community, law enforcement, educators, and the children of our community. We ask you to be in this room tonight. Help us discern your will and what is best for Spalding County. These things we ask in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a few amendments to the agenda. On the first motion, I'd like to amend the agenda to include the joint proclamation with the City of Griffin honoring the Exchange Club Man of the Year for 2023, Dr. Randall Peters, and I'd like to add that to business number 9.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand.
I do have a discussion. Wouldn't it make more sense to do that under presentation?
Okay,
Just asking if you would amend your motion to.
I will amend my motion to
Oh.
add it under presentation.
I'll second.
Item number 2.
The amended motion.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, now you can let them vote. I'm through.
Where?
All right, you have another one?
Yes. On my second one.
Oh, we gotta vote.
Oh, all right. I have, any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Thank you.
All right. Number 2, I'd like to make the motion to amend the agenda to include resolutions to increase the per diem for official court reporters for the Griffin Judicial Circuit, State Court, and Juvenile Court from $200 a day to $400 per day for civil and criminal cases, and I'd like to add that to business number 9 now.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5,
4.
4. All those opposed, like sign. 1. Motion carries.
All right, and the last thing, I'd like to make a motion to add an executive session for the discussion of future acquisition of real estate as provided by OCGA 50-14-3. 4.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Thank you. Item number 4, presentation of financial statement. Deputy County Manager, Erica Dodd.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
The following presentation I will be presenting this evening is of the county's financial activity for fiscal year 2025, ending July 31st, encompassing the revenue collections, expenditures, and encumbrances
for the current general fund and fire fund only. As of July 31st, 1 month has passed in the present fiscal year, which accounts for 8.33% of the budget. General fund revenues are $1.8 million, which is 3% of the budget. General fund expenditures and encumbrances total $6.2 million, which accounts for 9% of the budget. Fire district revenues are $53,360, which account for 1% of the fire fund budget. Fire district expenditures and encumbrances total $796,830, or 7% of the budget. The summary of revenue sources. The county has collected for July 31st, $855,000 in taxes, which accounts for 45.9% of the total revenue received. These taxes include real property tax, current and previous year, interest and penalty on real and personal property, heavy equipment tax, motor vehicle, ad valorem, tax title fees for personal property, local option sales tax, alcohol, business occupation tax, hotel and motel tax. The county collected $418,000, or 22.5%, in charges for services for July, including fees from the probate court, adult probation and supervision and intake fees, inmate housing, medical, clothing reimbursements for both the CI and the Sheriff's Department, recreation fees, recording fees, other planning and development fees, scrap iron sales, and animal adoptions. Miscellaneous revenue collected for July is $216,000, or 11.6%, including income from resource officers, CI and Sheriff's Department inmate phone commissions, inmate store commissions, CI detail reimbursement, spay and neuter fees, and motor coach trips. Intergovernmental revenue totaled $151,000, comprising of 8.1% of revenue. These revenues are from local, state, and federal sources, including the real estate transfer tax, Georgia gang activity grants, VOCA grants, accountability court grants, and DOT reimbursements, and also the performance partnership grant. Fines and forfeitures generated $170,000, or 9.1% of the total revenue from court fines. License and permits accounted for $34,584. Contributions and donations was $105, and investment income accounted for $15,439. For expenditures and encumbrances, employee salaries and benefits and FICA taxes accounted for 55.7%, or $3.4 million of the total expenditures. Expenditures on purchases and contractual services such as radio equipment, software, office equipment, maintenance, travel, dues and subscriptions, education and training, election expense, telephone, postage, auto and truck maintenance accounts for 42.9%, or $2.6 million of the total expenditures. Supplies, which include office and departmental supplies, utilities, uniforms, fuel, and some small equipment account for 3.6%, or $224,000 of the total expenditures. Debt service for July, which includes the enterprise vehicle principal and interest, and other capital lease principal and interest payments on equipment like our compact truck loader, skid steer, grader, backhoe, and compact excavator, accounts for 0.4%, or $27,000. Capital outlay accounts for 1.4%, or $89,000, and other costs account for a negative 4.1. That is due to a reimbursement that I did from the previous year from a T-Splosh requisition. These amounts include various park repairs and supplies, T-Splosh paving and sidewalks, the Cigna Flexible Spending Account, street lights, and the Griffin Spalding Development Authority, and the library. Lastly are the bank balances as of July 31st. The total balances on all of our checking and investment accounts for Spalding County as of July 31st is $56.1 million. The slight decrease in our bank balance is attributed to the increases in salary from the pay study. This suggests that our employee compensation has led to higher expenditures, thus reducing our overall bank balance slightly. And I would be happy to try to answer any of your questions you may have.
Have any questions from the board?
No,
Right.
not for me.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
All right, I have a motion and motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Dye.
Thank you.
Next is the approval of the proclamation for Exchange Club for Dr. Peters. I will present that tomorrow. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the resolution naming Dr. Peters Man of the Year for the Exchange Club for
Thank you.
2024.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Item number 5, citizen comments. Speakers must sign up prior to the meeting and provide their names, addresses, and the topic they wish to discuss. Speakers must direct your remarks to the board and not to individual members or the audience. Personal disagreements with individual members or county employees are not a matter of public concern, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. The chairman has the right to limit your comments in the interest of disposing of the county's business in an efficient and respectful manner. Speakers will be allocated 3 minutes to speak on their chosen topics as they relate to matters pertaining to the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners. No questions will be asked by any of the members during citizen comments. Outbursts from the audience will not be tolerated. Common courtesy and civility are expected at all times during the meeting. No speakers will be permitted to speak more than 3 minutes or more than once unless the board votes to suspend the rule. Dr. Ledbetter?
Yes, sir. We have 2 individuals who have signed up to speak this evening. Mr. Michael Middlebrooks, if you would please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Hello, good evening. Michael Middlebrooks, 1108 Maple Drive. I'm sure it's a little early for the discussion, but I just want to touch base a little bit on the millage rate. I'm sure it's coming up pretty quick. Obviously, the last couple of years has been pretty detrimental to people on property taxes, and with no credits from our governor, they're getting the full ride. I understand the expense ratios, I get it. I just would like to see a strong consideration in a reduction of the millage rate this year to do all the math that can possibly be done to string this budget as tight as it can be done. Where, you know, the people, particularly my concern, as I've said many times at this podium, are the senior citizens. I'm working really hard with the state representative and whatnot to push for some type of increased school tax exemption for senior citizens. I believe in my heart of hearts, and oh, by the way, I don't qualify for it, so it's not a me agenda. I just don't think that a couple of people 85, 88 years old that have worked all their lives and are just trying to enjoy the rest of their life should be burdened by school taxes the way that we are in Spalding County. Whether that be a total exemption, which is what I would like to see at a certain point, whether it be a percentage or otherwise, I know that the discussions come up before with a previous, I'm not gonna say a previous board, but a previous representative has brought it up. And I would like to see that happen. And I hope that when and if it happens, that this board will join the fight, so to speak. Whether it be a means-based deal, an age-based deal, whatever the case may be, the school tax for what for the amount of students we have in this county, and I know this is not the Board of Education, but for the number of students versus the number of employees versus the graduation rate, we spend way too much money on schools. And the E-Splosh is a whole nother animal that got shoved through last November. I wasn't a fan, didn't support it, won't support it. It's just another fund for that school system to throw money away. Thank you. Just wanted your consideration.
Thank you, Michael.
Mr. Sadru Ali.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sadru Ali, 4319 Union Road in Griffin, Georgia. Especially it's called Zitella community. On behalf of the Zitella community, I sent all member signature in the first meeting for granting the alcohol beer license to 4290 Union Road. And Ms. Lamb and Ms. Dawn Ford lived right next to the property. And when we did the survey, it is 427.72 feet away from the church and the graveyard. So my request to the board is, please respect our deceased citizen follows, our brothers and sisters, and not to be against this policy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ali.
And I've also emailed all the commissioner and Mr. Davis the survey report. You can look into it. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, no one else has signed up for this evening.
Okay, thank you. Item number 6, minutes. Item number 1, consider approval of the minutes from the Spalding County Board of Commissioners work session and regular meeting on August 5, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Item number 7, new business. Consider a recommendation from the Parks and Leisure Services Advisory Commission on a Sunnyside facility rental policy. Director Carmichael?
Yes, good evening. At the last Parks and Leisure Advisory Commission meeting, they discussed taking on the new Sunnyside facility to use as a rental facility, making it available to the public for their events. And I can review a few of the items on this policy. I won't read the entire thing, but it is a 1,200 square foot building, and we're proposing rental hours of weekdays 8 to 5 and weekend days 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. For the building only rental, recommending $150, and then with the building and pavilion option, $250. The weekend rentals for private events are $250 with the pavilion included. I wanted to make note that the pavilion cannot be rented separately because there are no exterior restroom facilities. This will make a unique type of rental that I think our citizens will really enjoy, having some indoor and outdoor spaces as well for their private events. The pavilion is used on a first-come basis when it's not attached to a rental. We are also recommending a security deposit of $250. There is no staff on site, so this will be, we will issue them a key access and through access control, and they would come by our office, complete the application, the rental agreement, and then enjoy their rental. The rest of the items on this list are basically general types of rules that we have for our other rental spaces. One of the interesting constraints about this park is there are only 20 parking spaces. So we want to make sure that the renter knows and understands that.
And the PLAC's recommendation is approval.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Gwynn, do you have any comments about this?
I do have a comment. I'm just, and I talked a little bit about this at the meeting, is that I guess I don't really understand why we're only gonna allow them a Monday through Friday actual business hours. I mean, if somebody wanted to have something on a Tuesday night, we're basically saying you can't lease it.
We can make that adjustment, that's not a problem.
Okay, I'm just, you know,
Ms. Gwynn, if we'd get closer to the microphone.
oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I think that just putting those restraints on that particular property, it will be unique in how they get in and out of it. I forgot what you said about security, about them having security, or if they needed to have security. I know we have cameras there.
Right, there are cameras installed. They would not require security. This is like a private birthday party or baby shower or, you know, those kinds of.
But it
family
would be
reunions.
available if someone wanted to get it during the week as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Is staffing, or we have enough staffing for this as far as?
It's not gonna have any staffing.
No.
We'll just keep it
Right.
clean and ready to
Yes.
rent.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Gwynn, do I have a motion to approve?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve the recommendation from Leisure Services to provide weekday rentals at the Sunnyside Park facility, effective immediately.
All right, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 2, consider a recommendation from the Parks and Leisure Services Advisory Commission on aquatic center fees. Director Carmichael?
Yes, so wanted to share with you that from United Pools, we've received a recommendation of revised monthly memberships, revised annual memberships, which that is page 2, and revised lane rental options, page 3. If we could begin with page 3, if you don't mind. We'll start with the lane rental options. And this is the area specifically that the Advisory Commission discussed. And their recommendation was for the recreation team, Griffin Gators, whom we would have an association agreement with, that there would be no cost for their usage. They would pay, like the other associations, their accustomed $10 user fee. And then Griffin Spalding Schools, no cost also for those swim teams. That's the recommendation from the Advisory Commission.
All right, we're going to do all 3, and then we're going to vote on the all 3.
Okay.
Can we,
Yes,
can we,
okay,
can we
go
talk
ahead.
about number 3?
Huh?
Can we talk about them individually, or what?
Yeah, we
How
can.
do you want to do it?
If you want to talk about them right now.
It'd be easier if we could, yeah.
So I came on the board in 2018, and we still hadn't picked like a place for the aquatic center. But at that point, there was still plans for the school system to create teams and the Griffin Gators to come and both of those groups were going to help us defray the cost of the maintenance of the pools. Help me understand why that's no longer the case. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be anti either thing, but like, it seems like we're changing the plan now and putting that on the taxpayer. Like, help me
So
help me
that,
understand.
basically the concept started with the honeymoon period and the usership that's happened during this honeymoon period of rates cut in half. That's one component. The other component they discussed.
Help me.
with-
I don't understand what you just said. I'm sorry.
The facility has experienced great usership during the honeymoon period, and the reaction of the public coming in of the regular assigned rate that was on the original fee schedule you received was one of shock. So to report to you, in the month of July, their check-ins were 3,020 check-ins.
So what
So
you're
the
saying is
concern
we've had a
is-
lot of people using the pool.
Yes, so
So
the
we want to make
concern
it
is.
cheaper for the teams to come in.
So with regard to the teams, the Advisory Commission discussed that whether you play baseball or soccer or basketball, there are fees to manage those facilities, to manage the utilities of those facilities, the turf, the buildings, et cetera, and they are not charged for their participation in recreation level sports. So their discussion revolved around, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gwen, but the discussion revolved around that the Griffin Gators should also have that same opportunity.
When did the Griffin Gators come and make that pitch to you guys?
They did not. come and
They
make
didn't
that
come and
pitch.
make a pitch. Part of the conversation was that when the Griffin Gators swam as a rec rec association, they always had to pay the city in order to use that pool because it wasn't a county facility. We've never charged a team to use a soccer field that was an association. We've never charged a baseball association any charge to particularly pay for those fields. So the Gators are an association just like the soccer association, the basketball association, the cheerleading association. So that was where that came from. And actually, I was the one who brought that up because they should not be, if they are representing us under GRPA as all of these others do, they are providing a service to us that we could not provide ourselves. So that's the partnership. Now, as far as the others, I was probably the only one that voted against anybody else being allowed to be able to use the lanes for free. And that will warrant a much longer conversation that I would like to suggest might happen in a workshop, because we haven't discussed this.
With
So-
regard to the Griffin Spalding Schools recommendation, the advisory commission recommended no cost, and that was based on the mutual shared facility use agreement that we have with Griffin Spalding Schools, and that's the basis that they made that recommendation.
What-
Right now, we use Memorial Gym, we use the theater, we use gymnasiums, fields, facilities, very mutually. And so that was the basis of their recommendation on that.
Did Griffin Spalding Schools come and ask to have this lowered to zero?
No, they did not.
So, from what we know, they haven't gone back on their initial agreement that they would help us fund the M&O, right? I mean, because
I'm
They-
not-
everything that we
they
heard
have
from
not.
them was, we're going to
That-
help defer the
You were
cost.
absolutely correct. And I have a meeting with the school board in 2 weeks at their workshop to have this discussion specifically.
All right, then let's hold off on these. Like, I mean, we can keep talking about the other two, but sounds like we're solving a problem that we don't have.
So let me just say what my opinion is about that. If we don't have it in writing, it didn't happen. So I don't care what the school board may have said about what they wanted to do. We don't have that written on paper anywhere, anywhere. So I just challenge that, is that the way we want to go to them with that? Because we really have nothing to stand on. And that's why I said, I think this needs to be workshop, because the details that we need to figure out who and how it's gonna work is gonna take much longer than we got a conversation for now.
I agree with that. I think everything about the 2016 SPLOST was
I like
poorly
the- I
planned,
like the
poorly
idea of Steve having the
executed.
meeting first. Have the meeting, and then we can worry about the workshop and bring them in.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right.
Would the board consider tabling this, Mr.
Okay.
Chair?
Well, we got,
Let's just table the whole thing and we'll come back. because
I want
we'll-
to hear the other
Other
parts.
parts of
Because it's not
it.
just lanes, they're going to talk about the
That's
monthlies and the.
And,
so.
and mind you, the lane rentals will be happening very soon. They're ready to get in their water. Their season is coming rapidly. So I want to be sure that they have the time they need in the water to be prepared to compete in their season.
And don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't want to support those organizations. I think both my kids are going to join the Gators if they're old enough. But the more than 10 years we've been talking about, they're all helping us with M&O, and now we're shifting it without even them asking, solely on the backs of the taxpayer. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
All right, let's go on to the next one.
The others were the monthly membership and annual membership, which you had received previously. United Pools has come back and what was for a resident, first household member, which was 64 to begin with, they've reduced it to 40 based on usership during this time. And each additional member went from $48 to $30. Non-resident monthly went from 96 to 60, and additional member from 72 to 45. The annual membership first proposed was $650 and has been dropped to be recommended $240. Each additional household member was at $490, has been requested to reduce to $180. And then non-resident annual was $980, requested to reduce to $360, with each additional member to now $270. I just want to make sure we understand too, this is an important part of our discussion, is that if the building has $1 million M&O, each lane has to generate $21 every hour we're open to recoup that.
Before we table, let me just ask you a question. So these numbers that we're talking about here are gate numbers. This is not, this is the money that comes back into the county general fund.
100% of gate goes to
So,
the county per contract.
I guess my question, and we can talk about this when we do that, not when we do that, is that what's the numbers for what it is that they're supposed to be getting from classes? I mean, are we talking about that's
How much is that generating? That's a
$800,000
good question.
because that's how much you want to charge for a lane? I'm just not really feeling and understanding what their part is
Their
and what
part-
our part is. And are we doing our part, or is this gonna, because we can determine whether or not our part hurts us. My point is what y'all gonna do? Because XYZ, you said out of $1.2 million, what I will be able to pay for out of this is that. Because it's not giving us real numbers.
Their classes and programs, when they begin, will be considered like contractor classes like we do in Spalding County. Since I've been a part of Spalding County, almost 30 years, is a 70-30 split. So they would retain 70% because they're paying for the contractor, and 30% of those fees would come to Spalding County for use of the space.
Well, and I totally understand that, but I'm just saying, as we're trying to talk about, we know that we have the M&O for this year, but anything that we get in this year that we charge from admission or whatever, clearly will go to offset what it has cost us this year. Now, we seem to be doing our part. I'm just trying to figure out what their part is and how, because clearly if their part is based on this, that means in order for you to have a water aerobics class, you probably got to pay $400 for them to make the money they need. That's why I say this conversation is much deeper. No, nothing about leisure services or the recommendation from the board, but it's much more than what we're seeing here. So,
What do you?
This is an M&O issue.
and we need to really count the numbers for us to get an idea on what our responsibility will be next year based on what they've done this year.
I'm, just to let everybody know, I'm very in favor of lowering the monthly and annual. I think that we're gonna get, it's a Laffer curve issue. Like, when you lower federal income taxes, that actually increases the total revenue. Much like a gym membership, I think a lot of people are gonna buy these, if they're more attractive than what they currently are. Right now, they're silly. Like, right now, they're silly numbers. I think those numbers are still too high, but that said, we want to encourage people to get the monthly passes and stuff.
Correct.
And
And the yearly passes.
and the yearly passes. Those are still attainable numbers for yearly passes and stuff.
Do we want to try to approve those tonight, or do we want to have a workshop where we talk about the whole thing?
Let's just talk about the whole thing.
Yeah. All right.
It's a whole
Let's go
thing
on to the
conversation.
Last one, please.
That was it
That was
for aquatics.
I'm sorry, that was it.
So we
That
got,
was it for
motion to
aquatics
table
business.
this.
I have a motion to table. Do I have a second? I have a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. I know how hard y'all
Please
worked
share
on
with
this.
me any more information I can, I'm trying to
And-
give
and
balanced
we're not
information
fussing
so
at
can
you.
make the
We
best
just, we
decision.
just
This
can't
is
get
a
it.
money issue on our side. This is not the Parks and Leisure issue. This is a money side on us. So, we appreciate what Parks and Leisure has done. I read all the stuff. I saw all the discussion. So, yes.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Should we put a deadline on that? Because she mentioned how important this is
Yeah.
here, so we're looking at maybe,
Rolling
we're
it
not gonna
back
meet
around.
First of September, so we're looking at the end of September?
we
Oh,
are
no, we need to
looking
do
at-
something
Yeah.
before that. We may have to have a
A little
call
later on,
meeting.
we're going to talk about, probably going to have a workshop on 19, on our second meeting, which, first meeting, which will
16th.
really be, huh?
The 16th of
The
September.
16th of September.
Is
We're
that-
not have, we're gonna, and we need the answer probably, can you,
Okay, so we're so.
They can't even publicize registration
Until you
without
know
these
what the
numbers.
price. We'll figure something out so that we can roll it
Okay.
a little earlier than that.
we may have to have a special meeting workshop on just trying to get this thing. All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you,
Don't
Kelly.
hesitate to tell us timelines and stuff like that, that
Yes.
you're under to be able to get us. We understand this is time sensitive.
We've already had one school, not a local school, one school to say they couldn't wait. So everyone is trying to get their
Their spot.
time and their lanes committed. And they're ready to pay what they need to pay,
Okay?
but not too much. They have to afford these things.
I get it.
All right,
Thank you.
item number 3.
Yes.
Consider recommendation from Parks and Leisure Services Advisory Commission to approve events in parks policy.
Yes. So since we've taken on management of City Park, we have learned that there are many public events that happen within the park. So the requests that have come into our office of people desiring to have public events have greatly increased, and we need to know how to best handle those. We rent pavilions, we rent facilities, we rent specific spaces, but we don't rent parks. This is a new lane for us. So the advisory commission has met and made a definition. It's given us an opportunity to further define policies that will help us know how to move forward. We've defined a private event as an event that has a guest list and is not publicized with public invitation. And a public event is a community-wide event that is open to the public. Under advisement of legal, we have established a list of entities that can host events in parks because there is reciprocal facility use arrangements with these organizations, and they're government and quasi-government. They're limited to those. You'll see that list of 1 through 14 on your enclosure there. So what we're basically stating what our policy has been all along, that we don't rent parks, we rent pavilions, we rent facilities, et cetera. But if someone wishes to host an event, and we already have some on the books, someone wishes to host an event and they're not a government or quasi-government entity or one with shared use arrangements, they can partner with one of these entities, one of the 14, and still have their event, and actually have an event that has public safety in mind, it has accountability, an organization that we can hold accountable for making sure all the Ts are crossed and Is are dotted. And this comes to you as a proposal.
All right, staff recommendation is to approve.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Gwynn?
Yes.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to
Oh,
approve?
No, I've got some questions.
Okay.
So, it says here, the park at 6, located at 6th and Solomon Street, is available for public and private events.
Yes. That space has been public and private event leasable. And there are 2 different rates. That's a whole separate policy.
It's one of the only parks that we actually rent.
Yes,
Is that,
for public and private. Yes.
Okay,
So,
go ahead, I'm sorry, excuse me.
but in order for a group to rent that park for use, it would have to be one of these 14 groups.
No, Park at Six is completely different. Park at Six is, we're just stating that directing people to the Park at Six. If they don't want to partner with one of these entities in a different park, then they would need, let me restate that. If they don't want to rent Park at Six, if that's not the location they want for their event, they would need to partner with one of these entities to have it elsewhere
For a public event.
for a public event.
A private event, we could still rent them sections of parks,
They would
like
rent pavilions.
pavilions or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
sports facilities, we lease those.
Ball fields, gym,
Ball fields, gyms, those are all rented.
tennis courts.
Can you talk about tennis courts?
Yes,
And the pro, we have a pro that
Yes.
does lessons out there. Can you talk to us about that?
yes. Since we've taken on City Park as management, we've had a bit to learn out there. Have learned that there have been lessons taught there for many years with no funds coming to the government entity who is operating that facility. So our first approach was, we think about associations. We have pickleball association, basketball association, soccer, baseball, softball, et cetera, disc golf, everything. So our first approach with them was, what can we do to work through?
Make you an association.
In creating an association for tennis. To us, that's the healthiest thing that can be done. It didn't end up going that way. And then while things were fleshing out with City Park, I know the maintenance has not been secured until very recently. We had started off with a personal trainer policy. We have a personal trainer policy that states if you want to train someone for fitness in a park, you register with us, you're background checked, we have you, your certifications on file, and then we create a badge for you so that anyone knows you have permission to be earning an income from public property doing personal training. That's how we started. And then once some months have gone now, there have been, well, let me explain this first. On the personal trainer policy, we don't manage which part of the park you're in. You could be in this green space one day, this park the next. That's between you and your client that you're training. So because of tennis wanting and needing specific court reservations, it then becomes a facility reservation and fits more along the lines of our contractor policy than it would a personal trainer. So that is why, and like I said earlier, it's a 70-30 split in Spalding County for those who teach classes as a contractor.
All right, any questions on that? There's a number of, this is a little bit sticky new for us as we
It
get
is,
into it.
it is. And it's
Everybody needs
a
to
big
think
change
through.
for those that are.
And the issue kind of turns out to be, all of a sudden, the teaching pro wants to take this and do it. And he used to be able to just kind of walk in there and say, it's my court, I'm teaching. No, we're not going to be able to do that anymore.
unless he,
Yeah, he's got to.
Does a contract.
Yeah, get a reservation to be able to do that.
but we have provided a path for that to happen. Right?
In the beginning, before we really learned the ins and outs of how this was working. And then when we started getting calls saying, I want this court and this court and this court, and someone else is coming over here and their balls are coming over on my side, and what are you gonna do about it? You know, then we're asked to get involved, we're asked to create a schedule, asked to reserve specific spaces, and that's no longer a personal trainer policy, which says we don't get involved in scheduling or assigning your space.
So my question was, we have provided a way for that to happen, though, for them to schedule space and be able to use it.
We have, but they elected not to, I understand. That was what was
Through
said.
association, is that, I'm
No,
not sure.
he's asking, have we created
contract.
a contract for that individual to reserve the tennis courts in order to participate in training?
We have a policy that we would follow that would create the contract.
We do, we have a path forward.
But,
Okay.
okay.
And they're aware of that, right? Or that was explained to
Which
them?
is a separate
Yes.
issue from this policy.
Correct.
that we're
Yes,
talking about now.
two different things.
Okay, All right. Any questions on this? All right. Do I
Mr.
have a
Chairman, I'd
motion?
like to make a motion to approve the recommendation from Leisure Services to adopt the events in the park policy.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
So this is gonna allow the Griffin Downtown Council to come in and use City Park for the Dog Holiday Festival, right?
With their partnerships.
Right. But this allows for that?
There are,
Just making,
Griffin-
yeah, I'm just making sure
Griffin
that,
Downtown Council is a business.
Yeah, they're on-
Is a part
they're
of
on
the
number 2
government.
here.
Right. All these 14 are non-gratuity
Right.
entities.
We have mutual agreements with them as government.
Oh, we,
Did you write this? You approved this? You looked through
Yes.
this?
Yes.
she has been a part of every step of this.
Okay.
Yes.
I
And
just-
is there a reason why the chamber's not on it, or are you associated
They are
with
not
Powers
a
Outdoor?
quasi-governmental agency.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Item number 4, consider approval of a carpet purchase for the new Cooperative Extension Office. Dr. Ledbetter?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My dollar limit for purchase is $50,000, and the cost for the carpet to outfit the new corporate extension office located at 419 East Solomon is $57,000. So staff's recommendation is that we move forward with the purchase of the carpet.
just for carpet?
Yep, just for carpet.
I thought groceries had gone up in 4 years.
Do you have to take the floor up that is in that spot already
We-
now?
We cannot take the floor up, it's asbestos tiles, so we will need to put the carpet over the top.
So, and I guess the reason I asked, because one of the problems that we had when DFAX was in that building, that is with the carpet always needed to be exchanged. So, and I'm not saying that the county extension office would be abusive to it, because I think they were very gentle on the stuff that's in their office. But, carpet just doesn't have a lot of sustainability. So,
Same that's in this room, yes, ma'am.
All right. Do I have motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
yes, how are their carpets cleaned now down in that? Because I don't think that the entire area is carpeted down by the elections office, is it?
It's not entirely carpeted, and it will not be entirely carpeted in the area that we will provide for the corporate extension. There will be a portion, the area where their kitchen will be located will continue to be tile, but the majority of the office area and the hallway will be carpeted, and it will be carpeted with the squares that we have throughout the rest of our facility, so that if we need to exchange carpet, that we will only need to exchange just one square or maybe two.
So we have this everywhere else?
Yes, ma'am. This is the standard that we're moving forward with. That way
Okay.
we don't have to exchange the entire floor when carpet is.
I mean, I know you
exchanged.
manage them, but it would've been nice to know that we had a theme going. Okay, so yeah, I'm just trying to think tile, pergo, what's gonna last the longest? So, yeah, that was all my
What's
questions.
your authority again? What's your authority again, 50?
50.
50, and this is 57. All right. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Item number 5, consider approval of recommendation from the Board of Education to Spalding County as the levying authority for the board approval of ESPLOS. That's the Education Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax continuation for payment of bonded indebtedness, principal, and interest. Dr. Ledbetter?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you know, the law affords us the requirement to levy the school taxes, but we don't set the millage rate, nor can we not approve this.
This is East Blast,
This
though. It
is-
is not school tax.
Please forgive me. You're correct. This is the East Bluff side, but they are levying this for their East Bluff. And they have presented this to us for your consideration and approval.
we consolidate just like we do with their millage rate in the end.
That
It
is
all comes
correct.
to us, and this is pro forma, so that there's only comes one way of doing it. All right.
Is this because
You are the levying authority for the
Levying.
county.
Yes.
So the money comes to you and then it has to be dispersed.
but that's only because they don't want to have their own levying thing. Like, they could, but they've got a service delivery strategy agreement with us, so that we do all the collection.
They have intergovernmental agreements
Yes,
with
but-
us,
but
yes.
technically, the Department of Revenue distributes automatically, so it goes directly to the
To-
school board.
Right, but I mean, it comes
It's because of us.
through, right.
It comes through your authority.
And if you remember, we do this every year with their millage rate. and
That is
their budget.
correct.
All of it comes to us always, and we can't change it.
And
We
this
just-
is for the voter-approved East-Was.
That is
Yes.
correct. It went
So that's what I'm
directly
trying to
their
get to. They're
consideration.
asking us, they're saying, is this saying they want to put this, a T-Splosh on a
No,
vote?
it's already
No,
been
it's already
approved.
been
It's already been a
approved.
The
referendum.
East Plus has already gone through.
It was already voted.
In November.
What year?
Last year.
Last year in November.
That's correct.
And now it's time to collect.
That is
Yes,
correct.
it was a continuation.
Okay,
No,
all right,
but
dear.
this isn't about the collections, this is about them wanting to front load some of it via bonding.
They bonded it.
That is
They-
correct.
They did bond about 46 million.
All right. Do I have motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Second. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Thank you. This is the second reading of the alcohol ordinance. County Attorney?
Yes, sir. So there are only a couple of things that I needed to bring to your attention. One was that I did make the change. I sent that out to you regarding gas stations. There was a new law that went into effect in April, I believe, that does not allow municipalities or county governments to require video
convenience store.
surveillance in any place that sells automobile gasoline.
That is just absolutely,
They must have a really good
retarded.
lobby. They got-
It
they
is
got
a
really good lobby.
completely new statute. It was.
I mean, who helped them with that? They really got their money together, didn't they?
Okay.
Gas station lobby.
You
let's do
can
that.
make somebody provide security, but if they're selling gas, no, you don't
That's
have to.
right.
That is correct.
And also, I needed
nobody sells
to
gas,
bring
what's
to
that
your
about?
attention that the fingerprint
do.
provisions that are on page 8 of the ordinance cannot go into effect actually until January 1 of 2025, and that is because the renewals have already gone out for this year. So, and that was an every 2-year thing to coincide with their RAS certifications. So, that will be in effect for the next calendar year.
For renewals, because
For
they're
renewals,
grandfathered
yes.
effectively in. Right?
So
Right.
let me just ask a question. Because the gentleman who came up earlier
Yeah.
from off of Noonan Road and referencing some distance numbers that he called out. This, whatever this other organization is who is trying to get their license, are they actually in violation of what we have on the books now? Because, we do have some stuff that talks about distances from,
So the
Churches.
distance from, I don't know, because I don't know what the measurements are actually regarding the convenience store there that is trying to get a beer and wine license.
What's the rule in the new
What
thing?
I-
What's
what-
the distance and how do we measure it?
What I do know is that
Generally
for package stores, for distilled spirits, we didn't have anything in our ordinance regarding the distance, but it doesn't matter because Georgia law requires 1,500 feet between.
1,500 feet.
Between one distilled spirits seller and another.
So, what does this ordinance say about gas station distance if they're gonna sell alcohol to a church?
So
And
the
how is that
church
measured?
distance,
because the church is there
Well,
first,
are
and
you-
yeah, the church
so-
distance is not
So are you speaking beer and wine, or are you speaking distilled spirits?
distilled spirits.
so
because if
it's
you're-
different. So if
It
there's
is.
a convenience store just wanting to sell beer and wine,
wine.
the distance, even in our ordinance now, does not matter. Or, I'm just trying
So
to,
there's not one.
There's no requirement
beer and
any
wine.
longer for churches.
In 2018, the
Okay.
legislators did away with the distance
Okay,
for beer and wine.
for beer and wine. Okay. I just want to make sure that we're in, because we're changing the ordinance to be in compliance with what state law is.
That is
That
correct.
is
If there's not a
correct.
distance for beer and wine, then
I'm just
it's a
not
moot-
so sure that the state is knowing what they're doing.
Ma'am, that
I mean, I
outside-
hear what you're
As the Southern
saying.
Baptist Convention goes down in lobbying power and the beer and wine sales goes up, they get rid of things and
Or-
make it easier
Or
to.
the flip side of that, as the Lutheran and the Catholic Church
Right,
were
right.
serving sacrament using wine, real wine, then they were in violation of state law, so now they're not in violation of state law.
So we've been breaking the law every week.
Maybe not. You weren't selling it. I'm
We had to pay
I'm
tithes
devil's
after we
advocate
got
on
it.
that one.
We
I don't
paid
think your-
tithes
your
and then we
tithe- I
got,
don't think
we
your
got
tithe
wound up.
counts.
Yeah.
While we're
sorry.
discussing it, I have a couple of other issues. One, we all agree, I want to make sure we all agree that we're going to add the server business at the next iteration.
Right.
Okay. Secondly, our last discussion was about, my words, almost every renewal and everything coming to this board and bypassing Steve. I don't
Excuse-
believe we want to see every one of those. I think we want to see every new one that comes forth, or anytime that somebody has
Or there's a question.
Violation.
something with our violation of our policy. So, when, I want, next time we change this, I want to take that away to do this. Now, we have a question of, do we want to see them all until we make the next change?
Well, we could put them all on a consent agenda and just say, the list that Steve has worked out, we're going to approve. All, yeah, the list of people with no violations and nothing special, like.
Do you want to see them? Do you want to see every one of them? I
I,
don't,
I don't want to see them to approve them, but I want to know that those places received liquor licenses. Because if you live in a neighborhood and there's something going on at a certain place, and I see on a list, okay, they got their liquor license redone, I thought somebody just got arrested for blah, 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 blah. So just being able as a commissioner to know that liquor licenses were granted, I think is more the thing to me. Because I don't want it to go out, well, y'all gave them a liquor license again. No, we didn't. Well, why didn't you know? So I don't have a problem with renewals going before Steve or requests that have nothing, no blemishes, but I still want to know that they,
so, under consent agenda, list the ones that
Ju-
Steve has granted.
right, not consent agenda, just as a matter of information
Yeah,
to us that
Yeah, you don't have to put 'em on here,
these
but, like-
licenses for liquor were
Okay.
approved.
We'll put them on the.
I mean, I don't
PowerPoint
think it
and
needs
go-
to be on our agenda. We just want to know that that's the list of where they are.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I would ask that on second reading, you allow it to go as it is, and then we'll bring that forward with the server permit and the tasting events and the mobile catering.
So
part
right
as well.
now, we have a plethora. This is the alcohol renewal license. So my question is, do we, by consensus, nod our head that, yeah, go ahead and,
I think if there are any in September, they would just need to go on a consent
Yeah,
agenda.
we'll just put them on a consent
okay, I just
agenda
want to
and
make
bring
sure
those
that
to
we're
you.
not backing stuff up.
Overwhelming. Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
All right, everybody square on that? All right, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Do we need a vote on second reading?
Yes, it requires two votes
All
for an
those-
ordinance change.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Thank you. This has been a long, arduous process to get done. All right. Item number, make sure, okay. Item number 8.
7.
Item number 7. Consider the Department of Community Development for the 24 new alcohol license for retail sales of beer and wine. Consider approval for the following new 2024 alcohol license, retail sale of beer and wine at the following Amadaya for North Food Mark located at 4290 Newnan Road, Griffin, Georgia, 223. Dr. Ledbetter?
Mr. Chair, it's my privilege to introduce to you this evening David Allen, our new Community Development Director for Spalding County. And with that, he can share with you the application.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
We're excited to have you.
So based on my first day with this, it appears to have met all the requirements from my office, from them accepting the application prior to me coming. Seems to meet all the fingerprinting, background check, and distance requirements required. So we do.
And after
send it
review
back
of-
for recommend approval, yes.
Correct. After review of the application, there were no violations to report, and staff's recommendation is to move forward with approval of the license.
All right. I have a motion to approve. Do I have a motion to approve? Excuse me.
Again, there's, under the new ordinance, there is no distance for beer and wine sales.
That's
That
correct.
is correct.
For anything?
For churches.
For churches?
There is for schools.
And we still have one for library that we kept in there.
You kept the library, yes, you did.
How come we could keep the library, but we couldn't keep church?
The law does not allow you to keep the church, but the law says nothing about public libraries, so. State law, I mean.
Remember that we had a discussion about bringing the local legislators in and talking to them? There may be a couple of things that we'd like to say to them. Hey, here's a couple of issues that are administrative, but mean something to us that you may not have caught first time through.
There are several provisions in the Georgia code regarding alcohol that do not allow local governments to make anything more restrictive. Some of them you can be less restrictive, but not more restrictive.
Is this near the Dollar General Market
It's coming like catty corner from
Yeah.
you.
but then we passed by that the other day going over to LaGrange? Okay, yeah.
How are the measurements done? Is it front door to front door? Is it property line to
Property
property line?
line.
Okay. that's
Most
the easy way to
direct
do it.
route on the ground is how we've defined it in the ordinance.
Okay, so not necessarily even like along the road.
It's
property line.
as the
Okay.
crow flies.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve this new one?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? Did you say what? Did you say? Okay, second. All right. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand.
That's a raise.
3. All opposed? Same sign. 2. Okay. Item number 8, cancellation of the Board of Commissioners work session and regular meeting on September 2nd due to Labor Day holiday.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Item number 9, approval of the proclamation.
Court reporter.
Resolution.
Resolution for court reporter, yes, sir.
Yes, I'm sorry.
This is bringing us in line with everywhere else, right? Because,
Yes,
yeah,
we're the last county.
In
to
the
sign-
circuit.
to sign this document.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes. I'm so sick. I'm so sick of them. Because the definition of a stenographer, a court stenographer, is the person that talks in the cone and then types the notes. And I'm not understanding why we got to pay one price to talk in the cone and another price for you to type the paper. And we, in our pay raise, just gave the court reporters an increase in that. So now, how is it gonna help us to pay them $400 a day instead of $200? I'm not understanding that. And the other thing is that, and I'm gonna get this a little wrong. When Judge Thacker comes in here and says that my stuff is net neutral, that means that it's not costing us any money for him to do the stuff that he's doing. I'm still waiting on the $250,000 from the grant that we spent money on that this court was going to get. Is anybody seeing it yet? So I'm not understanding why 2 months after we work on a budget for the last 6 months, That they didn't know that then? Now, 2 months after we're in the budget, you're coming back asking us to double the amount of money that we're paying annually for court reporters? Can somebody just help me to understand why that is necessary?
I do think it should have been done at the same time, like, when we're doing the budget. That said, Judge Sams failed to get the grant, like it didn't go through.
They didn't do it. I'm saying, don't come tell us you're gonna bring money, have us spend taxpayer money that we haven't budgeted,
I just
and
don't
then
want
you
Judge
don't.
Thacker thrown under the bus there. That was
No,
not Judge Thacker's.
if Judge Sams or whoever it is, I don't care. I know what I see. Now, I mean, if he gets mad because I said Judge Thacker doesn't cost us anything, then that's his problem. But it is not fair for us to have given a significant pay raise, and now you come back and ask us to double that. Now, I'm just one vote. And y'all said I had a chance to be able to say what because this is a bunch of crap.
What triggered this change, like, circuit-wide? Like, I didn't see this coming, like, was there a statute change? Who started this chain of events to get them a raise?
I can't answer that because all the county managers were adamantly opposed to the change.
How did we become the last ones
It,
anyway?
it was a significant impact, and the county manager for Fayette County actually raised a lot of stink over this.
What's the impact on it, total in dollars at the end of the year?
Honestly, I cannot tell you what the total impact is going to be for this year. It's going to take me a few weeks to get that impact ready for you.
This is doubling, basically.
It's doubling their transcription time. So depending on how many transcripts they write per year, and that's a question that I've asked, just for our part of the circuit, they can tell me what it is for the entire circuit, but I've asked for them to provide that for me just for us.
But wait a
But we're
minute.
paying for the entire circuit.
We're paying into the entire.
Entire circuit, yeah.
But wait a minute, us attorneys that request those transcripts, we have to pay for them. So this
That's
is
correct.
really increasing the cost to us.
And to us.
Why would it, why? But
Because-
don't I pay for them when I,
No, we both pay.
See, that's wrong.
what? So when they say, here's your bill for me transcribing this, they're sending you a bill for that too? That seems
Since you already paid them to
scandalous.
transcribe.
Like, okay, we gotta
That
look
was
into
the
that,
that
because
was the argument that all 4 county managers made back to the circuit.
I'm not telling y'all not
So
to
wait
vote
a minute.
for it, but know how much it is before we do say yes.
so they're billing me this full amount, and they're billing you this full amount.
They're billing me for every time we ask for the transcript.
Every time who asks for it?
Either the defense attorney or the prosecuting attorney.
But you already paid them
If the
to do
defense
the
attorney's already
transcript.
done it, then it's a double charge, and that was the argument that all 4 of your county managers made back to the circuit.
All right,
Okay,
let's-
they're not gonna drag me, cause I already know what my vote gonna be. I
right,
can't,
hold
in
on.
all good
Who
conscience.
seconded this? Did you second on
You've got James
Rita
and
did.
Rita.
it? All right, I'm gonna rescind my motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second that resumption.
We will invite the circuit to come and present, and Dr. Will Simmons will come and present this for board consideration at the next meeting if that's the decision to table.
Could you kind of find out for us what that looks like in dollars
I
too?
will do my best, yes, ma'am.
Again, if the cost is, if we're raising this and the defense attorneys have to pay, like, that's one thing. But like, if I'm paying and the county's paying, like, we need to go back and say how long that's been happening, because I don't see how that's not theft. I don't see how that's not,
Now, we need some clarity.
like, that's not okay. So
We
I'm
made
assuming
an
that no law
argument-
has been broken.
We made an
But
argument on
let's
your
get someone
behalf for
here
that.
to, because
Motion to table?
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a
till
second.
the next meeting, right?
That would
16th.
be September the 16th.
Yep.
That should give you enough time to find us an answer, or
Yeah.
find something close to an answer.
See if Judge Simmons will come in.
I-
It's not that I don't want to help out the.
Judge
court
Sams
reporters,
is
but-
no
No,
longer
Simmons.
the chief, it would be
What?
Judge
Judge
Scott
Ballard.
Ballard.
Did Sam's Retire?
No,
No, he made a deal with his wife that if he ran for one more term, he would step down as chief.
Oh, I thought that was an automatic based on seniority. Okay. So
Yeah.
Ballard's the chief now?
I don't care who the chief
Okay.
is. I just want us, I'm not be trying to get our
We
money.
have a motion and a second to table. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion tables. You bring.
I got it.
Yep, got it. Thank you.
You find out for sure.
Report of the county manager.
Yep, just want to remind the board and our neighbors across the county that the bridge on Moon Road, Wildcat Creek, is under repair and will most likely be under repair for the next couple of months. From the water turbidity, the circling around one of the piers under the bridge, it has become unstable, so we had to close the bridge per Georgia DOT's requirements. So just know that halfway between the road, it is closed.
Steve, may I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
So, in our transportation, do we have bridge money?
We have approximately $1 million set aside for all road funds from year to year, from July 1st until June 30th. Those funds to repair that bridge comes from those funds. So those funds also take care of the potholes or other issues. We do have money set in that budget line item for the repair, but this bridge specifically was, and still is, on the off-system bridge replacement program with Georgia DOT. It's slated for 2026.
Not gonna
So
didn't last.
it did not last. We have approached GDOT, but it is not in their budget to replace it this year. They still have it on the 2026 budget for their system. So we are doing the repairs to ensure the safety of our citizens between now and when the bridge is repaired.
What are the chances that GDOT would actually reimburse us if we were able to do that?
They would
Not
not.
a chance if we spend our money first?
That's correct.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
The other part about the transportation, Jenkinsburg Road was closed several years ago because of the bridge and the weight limitation on the bridge. We have placed signs, we have put our digital signs out, we have the signs listed in English and in Spanish, but we still have tractor trailers
Trying to go
driving
across.
on Jenkinsburg Road and getting stuck at the bridge. Just this week, just this weekend, we had to dispatch another wrecker to pull the tractor trailer from Jenkinsburg Road back out to Jackson so that we could clear the road.
When you say we, why are we involved in this private transaction of someone not following signs?
We do not pay for it.
Okay.
We do not pay for it. We dispatch the wrecker, and God bless our sheriff's deputies because they're the ones who are responding and calling for the wrecker service to have the road cleared from a tractor trailer.
Jenkinsburg already had no-through trucks, though.
It did.
So all these guys got cited, right?
I can't answer that.
I don't know.
Prayerfully, that would be the case because not only is Jenkinsburg Road listed as a no-through truck, but so is Jackson.
And the cost to repair both of those things and the wear and tear on it isn't caused by my little four wheels.
It is
driving
not.
across it. So
Yeah.
One of the arguments that we heard back from the driver that was towed from Jenkinsburg Road just this weekend was that his GPS is telling him that's how you get to P&G at River Park.
Procter and Gamble across the.
Is there a way to contact Google about this and go, hey, this road,
We
this
have
bridge is out?
contacted Google, we have contacted DuckDuckGo, we've contacted Waze, we have contacted every search engine and all of the GPS providers, both by phone and by email, and letting them know that the bridge is out and it's a no-through truck area. We still have issues.
So if I provide, not even as a lawyer, if I provide someone advice on how to break the law, I'm just as liable for breaking the law as they are.
Yeah, that's why that disclaimer that you sign every time you use the GPS says that they are not liable for providing information that is not accurate.
It still sounds like an excellent lawsuit to me. I mean,
I am not an attorney and can't give legal advice, but if that's, that is your purview. I would
the
encourage you.
county should look into filing over there with Rita or Josh, just like when they sued Snapchat for getting someone to speed in Spalding County. And won, by the way, so let's go.
Absolutely. That would be awesome for us, because then we would have some cleaned up areas, specifically around the eastern side of Jackson Road where the majority of the potholes are. It's really bad over on that side of the area.
Spalding County invented Splost. Getting GPSs to say, these are no-through truck roads, you can't drive your truck here, like, let's do it. I don't understand why we wouldn't do that.
All right.
They're literally telling these people to break the law. Oh,
Right.
they click the box that says we're not liable. Hey, click this box and I'll tell you how to rob a bank. No, that's not how that works. I'm not free from liability because you clicked the box. No, I'm providing information on how to get you to break the law. I'm breaking the law. That's
On
a
a side
conspiracy to
note,
break the law.
On a side note, we are about 3/4 of the way through for our T-Splosh resurfacing projects for this year, which will deliver 29.41 miles of resurfacing. That will take us to very close to 75 miles in 3 years. The way that the program was put together, we had listed 100 miles of resurfacing over a 5-year period, so it looks like we'll be able to resurface a few more additional miles through the process.
Good deal.
So kudos to our neighbors for voting the T-Splosh in, because that has been just one great program for our community.
Kudos to you for managing it so well. All right, anything else from you, sir?
No, sir. Please forgive me, I will be away for Wednesday and Thursday of this week attending the ACCG Policy Committee meeting in Albany with Chairman Davis, and I appreciate the opportunity to go. There have been many conversations about what the legislators voted in during the last session and what is on the agenda for this coming session. I would encourage our citizens to come and participate on August the 29th at 6 p.m. in this room for an update and discussion on House Bill 581, which the legislators voted in, will come up for referendum in November of this year. But please come and participate in House Bill 581 update for August the 29th.
Thank you. Deputy County Manager?
No,
Comment?
sir, I don't have anything tonight.
Commissioner
I
Johnson?
just have a suggestion. I'd like for us to kind of rethink if there is a financial consideration that's asking for the VOC when it comes to amending the agendas, that we not do that until we have all the information and all the facts. We can do it, in other things without the financial consideration. It doesn't give us enough time. We read that, whatever, we think everything is okay. It's not, so we shouldn't be put in this situation, to make decisions that we're not fully abreast with. So financial considerations, no amending of the agenda just before the meeting.
Oop.
That's my comment.
Okay.
No,
Commissioner Dutton?
I agree. Hey, if we're gonna add a proclamation to honor somebody or something,
Right,
you know what I'm
one
saying?
thing.
That's, we gotta do this quick, but it makes sense if it's an emergency situation, hey, we gotta approve funds to fix a bridge or something, but no,
This is not.
we gotta kinda get our toes around stuff. I'm so pleased at how well the T-Splosh is going, and I love that we did it in a way that there aren't overages. It wasn't, hey, these are the roads, we're gonna spend this much, and these are the list, and we're gonna go as deep as we can. Of course, we're gonna actually, looks like we might even get through our entire list and have to go beyond, which is great. And I think that demonstrates to the voters our commitment to, hey, all of this money goes to here, no more, no less. Whereas the Splost didn't work out like that. It was sort of a laundry list of hopefuls. And I think that if we're going to ask for future T-Splosh, future Splosh, future anything, we need to say, hey, this is what we're going to spend on these things.
That's the model.
And, you know, I mean, aquatic center, hey, we're going to spend $4 million. And if that gets us a pool with no roof, then that we're going to spend this. That's the only way that you're going to have the trust of the taxpayer. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, the aquatic center was, who knew? Like there's 50 different definitions of, oh, it was going to have slides. Oh, it was going to be a, that was done very differently than the T-Splosh. And I can't.
All projects work.
All
You're
projects
right.
work.
Pickleball.
Yeah, right. Every single one of them. None of them were within the budget. So, but the T-Splosh, I think, demonstrates a very different attitude from this board, and shows, hey, we're going to do it like this. So, and is very needed. So, I'm very pleased with the way that worked. Thank y'all for holding the fort down while I was out of the country. I literally just got back today. 24-hour drive in one way. So.
Commissioner Flowers Taylor?
No, I have a thing.
Okay. Vice Chair?
I'd just like to give kudos to animal control. Vicki Hennessy has been great.
Yes.
It's something that we hadn't had in the past. She's actually holding people accountable on a lot of things. I'll just use, for example, there was a subject that it's been going on for 15 years that has had citations that they were found in a desk drawer that were never even sent to the court over here to punish the guy. So he just thought he got off scot-free, and last week it was like 36 counts and citations of failure to restrain, failure to neuter, and running an illegal business. Basically had a puppy mill going there, so she did an awesome job. The Moon Road deal is, do we have anything at Public Works that can be sprayed on the campground, the dirt road, as to become a detour to kind of suppress the dust? Is there some kind of polymer or something that can be sprayed on the roads at Public Works?
I'll
Just
follow
see.
up with TJ.
Okay.
Yeah, we tried that
That's all I
stuff on a couple of those roads.
Yeah.
It worked pretty well, and it was pretty cheap. I mean, it wasn't panacea.
To tamp it down.
Okay. I got a few things. One, I had the opportunity yesterday to go to the Athletics Hall of Fame. Saw your dad's stuff there and everything. If you're a real, I'd suggest everybody get the opportunity to spend a little bit of time there. I know we voted there before, but go and read some pictures and see what's going on. It is well worth the time and effort to look at what part of our history is all about. I think you'll be surprised and pleasantly enjoy the time there. We had an Archway retreat. A couple of things from that. Commissioners, I think you will be being asked to join issue work groups. If you remember, we did not want to do that a few years ago. Now I think you will be asked to join the issue work groups, so be prepared for that. One of the things we said we wanted to chuck on was EPI funding. We need to take a look and come back and talk about EPI funding, what we're doing with it one way or the other. I'd like to offer to the commissioners, if you would like to go, inside of Spalding County, we have the Behavioral Health Crisis Center, Pinewood. If you would like to go and see that thing sometime, just let me know, or if a number of you want to go, I can set up a tour. It'll take about an hour to do that. We've had Karen Mathiak, a chairman from another county, come over and do that. Representative Daniels came and did that too, so if you're interested in that, let me know. I'd be glad to do it. I want to reinforce to everybody about the 29th of August. Please come. You're going to vote on this. If you vote, you're going to vote on this to change the Constitution on this thing. So make sure you understand what this is about. We'll have an opportunity from ACCG, our expert, to come in and talk us through it, and have information from county manager on how this will affect specifically. ACCG is going to talk about the law and what it says, and then we're going to ask the county manager to talk specifically about the impact it will have on us. Commissioners, I'm asking the county manager to set up a date for us to do ALS. If you remember, I would like for you all to get involved in doing that. He'll pick a date and we'll pick a location and then we'll go do it and have fun together. All right.
Motion to go into closed session.
I'm sorry, yes, sir. Anything from the county attorney?
No, sir.
Executive clerk?
No, sir.
Anything from the citizens?
Engagement.
All right. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Yep, you have one.
For what
You
purpose?
gotta have the purpose.
Oh,
For the
excuse me.
purpose of potential litigation, to discuss
And
potential.
property.
property.
Property
property
acquisition
acquisition.
and real estate is provided by OCGA 50-14-3-4.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. We're in executive session. We will be back out. Thanks,
You're
up.
good, sir.
All right, do I have motion to come out of closed session?
Mr.
All right, I have a
Second.
motion, do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Do I have another motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to instruct the county manager and staff to work with the county engineer to develop a renovation plan, solicit an RFP for renovations, and present the plan and cost to the BOC for consideration to convert the adjoining building into a government, or
I
to
have a
convert the
motion. Do I have a
adjoining
second?
building into government use.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second? Okay. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. We're adjourned.